Count me down, John.
5, 4, 3, 2.
What is going on, dads? And welcome to bonus episode number 3 of the Darts After That show. I don't know what I just said. I don't know what I
all over again. We're not dards.
Shut up and sit down.
What is going on, dads? And welcome to bonus episode number 3 of the Dads After Dark show, recorded on Sunday, August 2nd, 2020. We're your hosts, Drew and John, with 2 special guests joining us. So thank you for joining us tonight for some Nintendo and Toads. They're fucking everywhere, John. I mean, Paper Mario Spoiler Zone, guys. I am excited to talk about this game. I have just spent the last 2 weeks talking about this, but I think we need to introduce some Jess and John, my partner in crime. How are we doing? And why don't you introduce our 2 Jess, since this was your doing? This was your idea.
Yeah. We've got the one and only Jesse, the actual Nintendo dad. Welcome, Jesse.
Greetings. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. Let yourself go. You don't have to worry about recording tonight. Nice and easy for you. Put your feet up, Jesse.
I don't have to worry about marking times where every time Justin swears.
No. Because I can guarantee you I probably are going to be swearing more than Justin does.
And you haven't caught every one.
Yeah, I probably missed a few, but I try to catch them as I hear them.
He's tough to keep up with. And we have another.
Zach had one last time he was on.
Oh boy. We have another John on the show. This is John. This is Is it Datfast? That's the way I read it, right?
Yeah, Datfast.
Are you Datfast?
Yeah.
That's what she said?
I could explain it, but I don't know if we have time for that.
No, I think we need to.
It actually came from a love of cars. I grew up in a car family, and I had a bunch of Datsuns, and I got made fun of it because the rest of my family is all vintage muscle cars and things like that. But I got a love for things Japanese, I guess. So it kind of came from that, and just I didn't really have any other kind of gamer tag to go by, so I went with it.
Yeah, I mean, you got nothing else. Just go with Datfast.
Right. It kind of reminds me. I saw. You can't see. There it is. I saw this license plate a few weeks ago. I took a picture of it. It's GR8IML8. So great, I'm late.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
And then when I was a kid, I remember seeing a car. It was like at least hot sports car type of thing. 2 FST4U, but it was in the garage half apart. So I don't know. Kind of hard to be fast when you aren't even assembled.
So John, we are here tonight for it's way past my bedtime for a very special occasion.
Was it like 6 o'clock?
We are going to be talking Paper Mario and the Origami King. I'm sorry, Origami King. What a game. What an amazing game. I know we just talked about it a little bit on our episode number 16, but I wanted to just straight off and say I thought this game was fabulous. Probably one of my favorite games of 2020, and a top game of the Nintendo Switch, hands down for me. Going into it, I've always loved Paper Mario games, and like we said, the battle system has scared a lot of people away and said, well, I'm on the fence. I don't know. Why does Nintendo always have to change it? And they always compare it back to the Thousand Year Door. And don't get me wrong, Thousand Year Door is an amazing game, an all-time classic, perfect in every sense. But damn, this game did an amazing job. I really do think so. The battle system, once you get used to it, and you figure out what you're supposed to do, and you start getting a little bit of help that the game provides to you, I really think it's such a rewarding system when you're trying to line up the damn toads and all this other crap, and just like, okay, yeah, that made sense. I rotate these guys, I move these guys over, bam, got it. And now all of a sudden, it just turns into this satisfying thing that rewards you at the same time. So what an amazing thing. And just the exploration alone in this game and seeing what they did and the throwbacks to other games and the new worlds that they came up with. Absolutely well done game. What's your first opinion on it, John?
So I enjoyed the game more as I got through the game. I actually started off and was quite bored. It's very linear, right? I mean, you feel like you're going from place to place. You know what? I felt like there's a lot of places in the game where like they're saying, hey, follow me down this hallway. And if you just go a little bit off and you like say, well, let me just check what's around this corner over here. They like tell you, no, come on, where are you going? And it's like, I'm like 5 steps away from you, calm down. And they don't let you kind of explore. So it felt very linear. As the game went on, I was able to forget that a little bit. Like I said, one of the most annoying things about the game is very early on when you warp back from World 1 and you're in this room with 6 pipes numbered 1 through 6. And you're like, okay, apparently this room is aware of this event that just occurred 5 minutes ago. And there's all these pipes here. But as the game went on, I got more and more into it. At some point, I just wanted to finish the freaking game because it was taking forever. And then once I beat it, I was going to go for the trophies. And I found the trophies to be the most fun, but the most frustrating. A lot of these trophies are, and I know, Jesse, you had mentioned it on the show that there was a bunch of trophies that you were like, this is not worth getting. And I can assure you, Jesse, they are not worth getting.
Right.
They were, some of them are so annoying, and the
coins in the rapids.
The coins, the So
let's we're gonna go through them now.
I guess we'll go through them later, but I do want to say, going through the trophies, I became just crack-like addicted to trying to get them all. And when I 100% of the game, just a couple hours before we were recording, my son Cedric, yesterday he had done one of the trophies, which was the shooting star one on expert mode, where you have to get 100 points on expert mode. And we were doing a FaceTime call with some friends, and I gave him my game and said, here, try to see if you can get 100 points, because it was something he could do. It wasn't the Paper Mario game. It was like a mini game.
Yeah.
And he did it while we were on the call. It was like, sweet, that's one trophy I don't have to do. But today, I was working
that one
on
I did get. I did get that one.
Yeah, and it's a fun one to go for.
Yeah.
But the last one I had to get was the Eddie River run, and that is so extremely frustrating and hard. And he was hanging with me while I was doing it tonight, and I went to get dinner. I went to make dinner, and I was like, well, I could pause this game. And I said, do you want to try it? And he was like, yes, I want to try it. And he's, in context, he's 13 years old, and he wants to be a professional gamer when he gets older. and he's a pretty good gamer. But I didn't think he'd be able to do it. And I was trying to explain to him the subtleties of the canoe and all. And he was actually getting close. And then I took over and played for a little bit. And then I had to put the broccoli on, Drew, right? And I gave him the controller. Yeah. When I was gone, he had 2 tries at it. I walked into my room and I saw his face. And I know my son's I'm hiding something face. And he was glowing, but he didn't say anything. And I looked at the screen, and he was back in the museum talking to the person at the desk. And I looked at him, and I go, you did it? And he broke, and he's like, I did it. And I was like, no way. And so we got the last trophy with him. So it was a great, like, father-son moment working on that together. And that'll be one of the biggest memories I take from this game is that. And he's been so proud all night. He did it. Like, and honestly, I don't know if I would have been able to do it. So good for him. That was great.
I was able to get all the coins up until the big whirlpool, and I just couldn't get. I don't know if you need to somehow scoot north of it, but every time I go to, you get sucks you down south. I can't get north enough to get to those coins.
You go up, and you turn your canoe like around and down in, and like the typhoon will sort of lock you in. And it is kind of weird. You have to kind of like hold down, and then you got to hold left, and then you got to hold up, and you'll kind of go around it. Yeah. It takes a few tries to get it. I never got a full feel for it. It is doable. It's just frustrating that it happens at the end of it. Like you can go through the whole run and it's hard enough.
Well, I found the hardest part was when you're going downhill the rapids and you had to jump and whatnot. Because you needed to go in a straight line and then you had to jump at the perfect time as well.
Yeah. The first the first downhill wasn't bad because it was angled in a way that you can still see. The second
Correct.
downhill, the camera swings in front of you, so
It
you
was
no longer
weird.
have the depth.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with
And
that.
the first, I think, 3 times I kept on missing a coin. I jumped over the last coin.
I will say, with that being said, though, I completed it like my 5th time. I got lucky.
You got lucky.
I did. So, anyways, let's rewind for a second. We jumped ahead a little bit, John.
Yeah.
Overall impressions. Anything else you want to add before we bring it over to our guests?
I'll say I really enjoyed the game as a collectathon, the way you would enjoy a rare game on the N64. As a collectathon, I wouldn't say I loved it as an adventure game or a Paper Mario game or whatever. But if you go into it with the idea of I'm going to collect all the toads and all the question mark blocks and the collectibles and do all the trophies, I think it's a really fun time. But I wouldn't say I would say it was a good game. I wouldn't say it was a great game, but I really love the collecting. So, yeah.
All right, Jesse, what's your overall take on it?
Overall, I did enjoy it. I think I like Thousand Year Door a little bit more, but at least for 2020, I think this is a contender for one of my games of the year.
I agree.
Although it's been a relatively low bar. Most of the games that people are saying are good are games I don't like, so they're not going to be on my list.
Yep. Now, did you play Color Splash?
I didn't get far because I stopped playing somewhere in the second chapter or second world or however they classify it. Yep. When Kamek started messing with my deck, I said no. Don't let me, if you want me to play a card game, let me play a card game.
Kamek's going to do Kamek things.
Exactly. So my take was Color Splash I really liked, but this game took what Color Splash did in the positive ways, built on it, and got rid of the negative aspects of Color Splash.
Yeah.
I believe it was their model.
Like the confetti aspect versus coloring in the world.
Yep.
I liked that part. I was okay with that.
Agreed. All right. John,
Other John,
what was your overall impression?
So to start with, I'm going to put a little perspective on it. I played Paper Mario 64 and loved that game. I was fairly young when it came out, and it kind of hit the spot really good. And I did not play Thousand Year Door, so I don't have all this love in looking for this next Thousand Year Door game that everyone else does. I did play Sticker Star. I missed that one. I did buy Color Splash, and I think I made it a little ways in, and my kids kind of took it from me, and I never got it back. So they both completed it. So going into this game, I was, with all the hype that this was going to be another RPG like Paper Mario, I was pretty excited going in, and I was ready to play some Paper Mario. I thought this game was really good. The story is really kind of grabs you and pulls you in really good. Unlike Drew, the battle system to me felt like there was a little something missing. Like maybe if there was just a little bit different attack types, or something other than putting the enemies in a straight line or a block 4 pattern. Just something else. I mean, to me, the battling was okay, but I think I mentioned this in Discord. I found by the time I made it to the 4th or 5th streamer, I was all but done with it. Like I was paying the toads anytime I could.
Yeah,
it's like come on toads, help me out. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah,
and I don't know. It felt like something fresh for me. I really enjoyed this one, and I kind of had the same conclusion as Drew as well, as far as I really thought this was probably the best game I'd played from Nintendo this year, even with a remake of Xenoblade, and I love Xenoblade, but this story was just so, and the humor and all the toads, everything just felt really good about it, and I don't know how else to explain it. It was a good feeling game.
100% agree. And speaking of the humor, I mean, how cool was just like the random little coffee shops that you found in every world that added nothing to the game.
The coffee shops are such a waste.
Oh, John.
No, I thought they were great.
Yeah, did you guys find the one where if you didn't buy the drink, you got the special?
No, I always bought the drink.
No, there's one in I believe it's the Fifth World, isn't it? Or the Fifth Streamer?
Yeah,
the one with the spa.
They asked for basically ordinary coffee.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's a spa one. I think it's.
I thought it was a spa.
Wait, so what happens?
The spa one is one of the last ones I found.
Okay, that's one I was thinking it was, but
might have been the ocean one.
I gotta know what you get.
What do you get?
So if it says, "Do you want the normal ordinary coffee?" If you say no, then it'll say, "Oh, you're here for the special drink." So you say yes. It's still and it's the same 100 coins. So then Bertle will come dropping down on a stripper pole.
No.
Yes.
Oh, this shit's great. I gotta go pull this up tonight.
Give you a wink. Oh, first, no, they give you a coffee cup that's empty. Then Bertle comes down, gives you a wink, and then you look at your coffee cup again, and there's a heart in it. Then your life is healed.
Yep. It was good.
Wow.
I love the unnecessary stuff. I mean, there was a what is the part in the game? I'm trying to remember where you have to answer a question. Oh, what is it? You have to answer a question, and then they say, "Is that your final answer?" And then there's zooms in on Mario and zooms out, and you can see like an annoyance on Olivia's face. I think it's like early in the game, and I was cracking up over that. It was so good. And it was like the day Regis died too.
Question was,
oh, Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of shitty moments, how about the fucked up moment when poor Bobby goes? I mean, my kids literally, I think my wife and I played that night, and then the next day, my kid's like, "Oh, where's Bobby the Bomb?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's dead. He died." And they're like, what do you mean?
Apparently, Bommy's a Jedi. Like he comes back as a ghost, and
oh yes,
yeah,
in the picture.
I completely didn't notice that he didn't have a fuse.
Yeah, the whole game.
That either.
When he was pondering what to do, I thought he says, "I have to sacrifice myself to save her," but then it went into, "We got to go here instead." I'm like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah,
but Jesse's just demanding. Why don't you just blow yourself up right now, Babam?
Don't you have a remote somewhere?
So then what I thought was going to happen eventually did once he found the fuse on the boat on the Princess Peach.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. So
which was so random. Like we need to go to this cruise ship in the middle of the ocean to get the thing. I want to say one thing I noticed about the game was a lot of the worlds were these big open worlds, and when you get to the desert and they give you the boot and you're like, what do I need this boot for?
Oh, it's
amazing. Then the desert is so big. I mean, they had to. I wonder if they gave you the boot later in development because they're like, this desert is so freaking big and you can't really run in the game. But the desert and the
spiny fight really can't be done without the boot. So I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess. The desert and the water world were just so big.
But how
I don't
just
know.
The cool little things, like when you go to Sniff City in the desert world and you park the boot, and if you park it correctly in the parking spot, the little guy's like, "You did a great job parking that. Have a coin." Like, it's just, that stuff makes me like, that's just awesome little added stuff. But we are missing the elephant in the room, right? World 4, the Great Sea. I mean, Wind Waker tribute left and right here.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. On
our show, that's what I was referring to as, something happened. I didn't want to spoil it at the time. Yeah. I said, something happened in World 4. I thought it was amazing when I realized what it was doing. And then things went downhill a little bit when I really realized what it wanted me to do.
Yeah, I mean, at least you got the double speed, a little ways in.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah, that helped a lot.
That helped. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool trying to find. I mean, there was one guy that tells you there's 11 islands, so at least you know what you're looking for. I mean, fucking Moon Island. I feel like that place I had to go back to 1,000 times, and then all the treasures I missed there. That place was my nightmare out of all of them. Yep. And then what was your guys' take on, what was it called? Struff Island, whatever the hell it was, where you had
Scuffle?
the battle.
the battle
Scuffle,
island
Scuffle,
there. What was
yeah.
your guys' take on that? That one was
That was the
okay.
first island I found, and I didn't get far. I think I got to the 5th of the 7, and I'm like, I think I just need to come back here when I have more hearts.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
And-
I bailed out after like 3, Jesse. I was like, I don't want to die and have to come back. And then I went there in the post game because there's a trophy that you win if you can beat it all. And I think I did it on the first try. Yeah, I think you have so much health and you've become so experienced by then.
Yeah, you learn how to beat them after playing the game.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I beat that one after beating the Buzzy Beetle in, near the end game. So I knew how to defeat the Buzzy Beetle here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And-
And just in case it wasn't clear for those who hasn't played Wind Waker, when I said what the game really wants you to do is to, dive down and find all of these treasure chests all over the place.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of the Triforce hunt at the end of Wind Waker.
So that reminds me of 2 things. First question, what did you guys finish the game with for total health?
200.
I was 195. I must have missed one.
I
What
was
you
at
guys?
195 too, and I missed one. There is a toad that tells you where they're at if you missed them.
And it'll
Where's
give you a
that?
hint on where to find it.
Yeah,
Where's
he's
that
in the
toad?
he's right beside that brick building in the Toad Town. He's
Oh.
running up
wow.
against a pole.
What are you at, John?
I don't remember. I think I got them all, but I might have missed one. I don't remember.
I'm missing one, I think. So, all right. So
Huh.
the other question I have is, because this bothered me a lot, kind of, the motion controls.
Oh,
I get what they're trying to do, but man, I fucking hated it, and I hated it even more for the few hours I played handheld. I mean, trying to fight a boss that you have to beat with like hammering, I'm hammering my entire like. It's ridiculous. I mean, what's the point of that? You think Nintendo's trying to just show off the controllers and what they can do with the game?
Well, I feel sorry for anyone playing on a light.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah, I
think
played it- Go ahead.
I'm a fan of motion controls, and I think what they're doing obviously is they're trying to really tie you into the game. So and I think that's what the whole purpose of the hands is like you're bashing an enemy on the head, and you're physically doing that, and it's trying to tie you in. I have headphones. I have the Steel Series. Hey, Justin, and it has a little like a thingamajabber near the end. So when I was doing that, it would knock into the back of my Switch. So that really would cheese me off because I was like damaging my Switch just to do this. And I think you can turn the motion controls off on the fishing. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I didn't like the motion
You
controls.
can turn them off, I think, for all of it.
Yeah.
I kept it on because
Me too.
I played it with a Pro Controller for most of the game, and it was fine.
I agree.
Still
feel
felt
like
weird
They wanted
waggling
you to-
my whole Pro Controller like that, but it worked.
Yeah, I played with the Pro Controller too, but judging by like when you look at the icon they show, I really think they want you to play with like 2 Joy-Cons in your hands, like separately.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what they're trying to push with all of this stuff. But it just sometimes to me felt a little annoying or just, what the F. But
Yeah. I agree. What
All right,
what did you guys? I want to know what you guys thought of. Like, did you do the Toad searches and all of those things? Because, like, to me, I consider that almost like part of this game. Like, not wanting to find all the Toads. I mean, there's Toads
well,
everywhere.
let's just get right to the trophies collecting, John, and then we can walk through each one. How about we do that?
Well, yeah. So who's gone for all the Toads? What have you guys done?
I've gotten 100% of the Toads.
Okay.
Same.
I have, yeah. If you look at all the percentages on the zone map, I have 100% on everything.
Did you,
Okay.
Jesse? Did you do the God, the last 3 Toads? I had to look up. Like one of them was like some random NPC that I managed to not talk to. Like Spike, and he sells you one. But
Yeah,
like
I had to look up a few. Yes.
Oh yeah.
you had to beat all the bosses in the battle cafe or whatever they call it on that machine. So they unlock a machine in the battle. So early in the game, you go into this battle cafe in Toad Town.
Yeah, that was the last
And-
trophy I got.
Yeah, and then you
that
you
was one-
practice. That was
Yeah, that-
absolutely my last one too.
Well,
that was so
Trophy 15,
freaking
I think.
annoying. Yeah, it's so
I gotta be
annoying.
honest, that whole build-in, that battle zone place was a disappointment.
I mean, it's a good practice. And honestly, the Ringer game, I wish I would have played it early on, and just because if you beat all the Ringer levels, then you'll get a trophy. You'll get 2 trophies technically. And if you're going to do that, I would say do that early in the game because it really helps you practice. Because it'll actually show you the solution if you don't get it.
It's very similar to Catherine, where they give you in the bar, they give you there's an arcade machine that lets you practice the puzzle game.
Right.
What was that called again? That was it Rapunzel?
I think so.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I never played the machine.
Yeah. That was my last, and you don't even get a trophy, you get a collectible. But of course you need all the collectibles to get the trophy. Right. And it took me hours. And I was writing with Drew, and I was like saying, I thought I had to do just the 8 bosses. And I was like, I got through 4, I got through 5, I got through 6, and I get to the 8, nobody gives me anything. And then I realized you have to do the paper mache guys and the elementals. I was pissed.
Yeah, I think it took me maybe 3 hours to go through them.
Yeah. I
did the first 2 when I unlocked them, and then at that point I'm like, these bosses are pissing me off, which I think is the low light of the game.
But I like the boss battles.
I honestly didn't mind the boss battles where they were in the game. I agreed going back, and right now I'm in the middle of doing that trophy, and fighting these things bat to bat to bat to bat is awful. God awful.
One of the bosses, one of the bosses literally caused me to rage quit the game, and I didn't touch it for 72 hours before trying it again.
Now, which one was that?
The ice elemental.
Yes, the ice elemental.
Well, I didn't think that one was that bad.
Well,
True.
I didn't realize
all the snow on the ground.
The first time through, without it, I didn't realize how to manage the board, getting rid of the ice. And then after I shut it off, I'm like, I have an idea. I'll try it next time, and that worked. Where you had to do the slide to break the ice chunks.
Yeah,
I missed it the first time too.
Yeah, I'll be honest. My wife we played a lot of this game together on the TV, so we helped each other out in certain things like that with memorizing. Like, I'll be honest, I never took one screenshot. Proud of that. But we did help each other a lot out. So we had 2 sets of eyes, kind of, no, you're gonna turn that one and then move that one over. So we did have a lot of that.
They would show the path momentarily when the snow was on. And I didn't pick up on that because the going back was just, it blew my mind. When I was fighting the final boss and I was fighting the ice version, I mean, I fought that boss for an hour. I could not get past the ice guy.
Let's talk about that last boss when you're fighting Ollie, whatever the hell his name is. And it's like the 3 phases. The second phase, was it the second phase?
Second phase, I think, is when you have to bang.
When they readjust the element puzzle.
Yep.
That's the 3rd phase.
I legit gave the controller to my wife and stepped out. I said, I can't do this. I need a minute. And then I came back and she solved it.
That took me 3 tries. It took me 3 tries to get that.
That was the problem with that one. Is they barely showed you what it looked like.
Yes.
Yeah. The first time I had all the rings lined up and wondering, why aren't you triggering a victory? Because I had it upside down.
Yeah, I had a little diamond in the middle.
The corner colors didn't match. By the time I realized that, I'm trying to spin all of the 4 rings 8 times. And I ran out of time.
That thing sucked.
The nice thing was that if you died, at least you could just restart right there. It wasn't that bad.
True.
Yeah.
So on that ice elemental battle too, I found after playing it my second time that you can kind of cheese the last part where you have to use the 10 or the 1,000-fold arms. Mm-hmm. You know how usually when you start to line up your attack for the boss, you have to start on an arrow, right? You could actually line that magical circle as the first thing that Mario steps on, and you don't have to find the path to it. You can just line it up right in front of
you.
I
did that too, John. Yes,
I never tried that.
I did do that.
Yeah, it works out nice.
Yep, nice. I agree with that. Yep.
Kind of backing up a little bit, the thing I didn't like about the ring system is it always required the rings to be set in an order. So like if it starts off in the middle, if I like move out 2 rings and then I want to go back in one, it won't let me do it. I have to like advance it all the way out to the outer, go back to the inner, and does that make sense?
Absolutely. If you
that bothered me the entire game.
I agree. You have to adopt that all the way around. Yeah, that was dumb. That was a weird option that they chose to go with.
Especially when they time you to do the solving the puzzle.
So let's speak about the time for a second, because I'll be honest, the time really didn't bother me. I liked that part of the element. It is stressful.
And especially if you enable the item that gives you more time. You have a minute and a half on some of these things.
My problem
if I wasn't going to get the puzzle in 15 seconds, I bailed.
Yeah, I wasn't getting it. You're right. I was just jam A.
So did anyone else get the achievement for not using any items in battle? The accessories?
I did not.
There's like a little achievement if you complete. Like I never bought any of the items that alter your battle. Like nothing that gave me more time or gave me my friends more hit strength or whatever. I never bought any of those. I never equipped any of them during battle. So whenever I finish the game, there's a little, it's not a trophy or anything, but there's a little message that pops up that says you beat the game without using any battle accessories.
Well, John, you got to play it again, buddy. You didn't.
I was going to say, where is that achievement? Because you could never, you can't do it.
Yeah, it doesn't mark it anywhere. And I got done with the game and rolled the credits, and I wasn't even thinking about it, and it just kind of flashes really quick, so I didn't even get a screenshot.
So I have to ask, how come you didn't get those?
I never did feel the need to use the items. I was having a fairly, the puzzles were difficult towards the end to get them all lined up. But like I said, I was using the toads to do the puzzles for me. So I never used any of the items. I used the the upgraded hammers and the boots and stuff, but I never bought any of the stuff that helped you out during the battle that you had to equip.
Yeah, I purchased all of those and I used all of those.
Sorry, what?
I purchased every accessory and used pretty much all the accessories. I even used the cherry blossom one in the samurai village, and then I shut it off again so I can use the confetti vacuum. It's the same time as the membership card.
I used the ones that helped you find the blocks and the collectibles and the toads and things.
Oh, yeah.
But I never used any of the ones that you used in battle. I never bought them. In fact, when I got done with the game, I looked at my inventory screen and I was like, why didn't I ever find anything that goes in these inventory slots?
How many coins did you have at the end of the game? Because I still, after buying everything, I had at one point over 100,000 coins. I think I ended the game with like 80.
I think I had 165. I never bought any of the accessories, so
that's true.
Because when you get into, I think Shangri-Spa is you spend the most money to buy accessories and I think in some cases trophies. Yeah. So I went from 80,000 down to like 20,000. So then I was kind of like stingy on coins again.
And I'll send you guys. I can send you guys a screenshot of my inventory screen. It just has question marks for all the spots.
So send a screenshot of your save file. You know, when you load up the game and it has the little picture, you should have a silver star. We will not have a silver star.
I would never even thought to like not do that.
Yeah, I'll send it in Skype if I.
Okay, I'll load it up. But yeah, it was just I would have got a screenshot, but I wasn't expecting anything. You know, I just beat the game. I'm enjoying the credits, and next thing I know, it's like you beat the game without using any battle accessories. Congratulations!
You open up the Skype chat. There's a picture there that shows a little silver star in the top left corner that says you did not. I don't know what the little glove is. Is that 100% complete? Do you have a glove? Is that a glove? I don't know. What's it? Like a Mario hand or some sort?
I'll check mine here in a minute, and
I'm loading up my save to see what I see.
Yeah, I'm not putting my cartridge back in. There's no chance.
I bought it digitally, so.
So we talked about a bunch of stuff there. We talked about all the boss battles, things like that.
I want to talk about real quick the trophies.
Yeah, let's go through each one.
And I had a bunch. I knew I was going to try to do everything before the game. I felt like the trophy system, while I loved doing them, I thought they kind of mishandled it. And And here's the reason why. There is a lot of unfairness. Okay, so one of the trophies, and how many? There's 12 trophies? There's 12 or 15 trophies,
15.
right? And some of them are like, win 200 battles and get 300,000 coins, which, are all totally doable. But here's the problem. The problem is that some of them were crazy. One of the hardest ones is you have to clear 16 levels in speed rings, the battle lab. Now, so what this is it's just like the ring challenges as if you were battling, right?
Yep.
And they give you 100 seconds and you have to clear 16 levels. They don't stop you at 16 in the game. You can get further, but you have to clear at least 16. 16 divided into 100 means you have about 6 seconds per speed ring battle. And let me just say that you need like at least 3 to 4 seconds just to physically move the wheel around. So they're basically giving you like 2 seconds to recognize each one. And that is just not possible.
It's not, and some of them aren't easy, John. Some of them are like 3 moves.
That's not possible.
So I got 10 seconds. I was trying. I'm sorry. And I got 10 levels complete and I was pumped. I was like, yes. And then I was like, fuck, I didn't beat it. What happened?
You didn't even get close.
And I looked it up and it was like clear 16 levels. I was like, you gotta be shitting me. And I moved on to something else. I said, I'll have to come back to do that. That'll be my last one.
That was the hardest one. The other one, the other level, the other rings, those were the same ones over and over again. You have to do 30 of them, but they're all the same. So I was taking notes and whatever. But so when the speed rings, though, they randomize them. I think they might be the same ones, but they're randomized. And even on the easiest ones where you just do one slide and then a spin, it still takes your brain a few seconds to acclimate itself to what you're doing.
I'll tell you
the way I did it was I waited till it started up and then the screen shifted and you saw the number of turns come on the screen. I did a screenshot home menu. And then I went to the photos section and just studied it. And then when I figured it out, and I had to do it mentally, so I couldn't move things around. And then I would go back in the game and immediately do it. And I got 18 levels done. And that is absolutely cheating to the highest degree possible. I did 17. I got to the 18th one. I did 17. There is no way this is possible. The trophy needs 16? You need to do 16. But I did 17, cheating like up my wazoo.
But here's when Nintendo really says "fuck you" when they say we're gonna randomize it, because you should go to YouTube and watch a video, but but level 1 is never gonna match the YouTube video of your level 1.
Right.
So
exactly.
It's like you gotta pause it and then try to find the same layout on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
And then it would take you probably an hour just to cross-reference and go back and forth.
But even if you knew the solution to every single one, it still takes your brain a few seconds to acclimate.
Yeah,
that one is impossible. The other one, Shy Guys Finish Last, where that's the one you have to do to get to the rainbow spot.
The very first puzzle I landed on was the one where it was the disc spinning one, the hardest level. I couldn't do that one.
It's so hard.
I got my 100 points through other means. So when I saw the trophy was to do 100% that perfect, I'm like, hell no. I'm not even going to try it.
When I first time around, the second row, I don't think I ever had to do any. I don't even know what that one was.
Oh,
that's not harder than that one either.
No, they just get harder. Level 1, level 2, level 3.
No. So there's 4 different games.
The second game.
The second game.
I don't think I landed on the second column either.
Is that the one where you count the Goombas?
That's the races where it's like Koopa, Ninja.
Oh, no, I did that one once.
They race each other. That's the easiest one by far.
Yeah, that was
easy. What were the other 3? There was
I like the Goomba counting one. That's a game run out of brain training.
Yes.
Yeah, but Jesse, the problem is, and I think John brought this up before, was not only do you have to count them, but then you have to create an equation.
Oh my god!
See, I thought that was amazing.
It was, but like, let's say it's 15 Goombas. You're like, sure, maybe it's 8 plus 7. No, it's like you need to do. It has to be 10 plus 5.
17 minus 2.
Yeah, it's like
mine was 12. I did 11 plus 1.
I had no idea. I had the count in my head, and I see the screen, and it says use a number and symbol. I had no idea what they wanted. Then it says, "Oh, you got it wrong," and I was like, "No, it's 14." And then it goes and it just shows you, and it goes, "See, it's 14." And I'm like, "Okay, show me what I would have had to put in," and then it doesn't. And it's like, dudes, like they did not explain that well at all.
I see you post that picture where you just try to put the 14 and like a plus sign.
Well, they said you needed a symbol, but they weren't saying like what it had to do. I mean, I wish they would have just said make an equation or show an example. I mean, they will like go through lines of dialogue to explain simple concepts, and then they don't even tell you on that one. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I can understand why they didn't say equation or expression, because that's, if younger kids may not understand what that means.
Well, then you shouldn't have them do it.
Right.
Like maybe just show 2 slots and make people put the number in.
Backtracking a little bit, I took a screenshot of my little image of my save state, and I do have the silver star. So I think that means game complete.
Beat it.
Okay. I don't have the golden glove. So that one might be.
So I have the golden glove. I attached my screenshot in the chat there, and I have the silver star and the golden glove.
That makes sense.
All right, I put my image in the Discord so other people can see it.
I wonder if anybody out there who's beaten the game, gonna play through it again to try to get the golden glove.
I'm not.
No way,
John. You should.
No way, no.
I already have it, so I'm good.
So this Shy Guy thing.
Yeah.
That's 2 of the games. You got the Goombas in the pool, the racing one. What are the other 2?
The Goombas in the pool, the racing, the spinning puzzle, and then
they make a picture with the rings.
Yes.
And then you had to find the ninjas in the cup game.
That was the worst.
Oh, I saw that one. Oh, so I didn't see the make a picture one. I never played that one.
Yeah,
that was. I think that was the first column.
Oh, jeez,
that was my worst one.
So that's
the one where I noped down.
The level 1 on it is easy. The level 1 is the only easy one. The 2 and the 3 get tricky because you have to go through.
So is it like the end boss spinning picture one?
Similar.
No, it's just a picture. Yeah, it's just a picture.
It's a similar concept.
I'm all set with those.
Yeah, except for it's more of just a regular image. It's not a symmetrical thing that. Just the end boss was easier than the game.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, that and you didn't have to do 15, and if you miss one, you have to start all over again. So I spent probably about 5 hours trying to beat this thing, and by the end of it, I had a system where I was using my cell phone because some of the puzzles went over 30 seconds quite intentionally, so you couldn't use the on-device thing. I had my cell phone. I would record. I didn't do it for the Goombas, but for the Ninja, I recorded on my phone, and then you can scrub through in slow motion. So that's how you can figure out the Ninja thing, because that one's random. The puzzles are all the same. Yeah, those pictures that you spin, it's always the same. So you can look those up online if you want to, and I did. And then the other 2 were really easy. I mean, the one thing I did do with the bath is I would screenshot the moment after you were done. So if I had the number in my head, 21, I would screenshot the moment I came back, because one trick was if you said, okay, I'm going to do 23 minus 2, but if the 3 and the 2 were on the same spindle, you couldn't separate them. So you had to make sure that you're using numbers that are on individual spindles. And it took an hour to get through all 15 cheating. And before that, I was cheating and I was still losing. It's just so frustrating. And then they do the sudden
what I didn't want to do and why I said hell no.
Yeah. It's
horrible. What? You guys are talking me off the ledge here. I don't know if I want to do it. I'll tell you what I did do. I would
fully back you not doing it.
I did pay in one of the early temples. I saw there was a slide puzzle, right? The water one, maybe. There was like a 4-piece slide puzzle. Bam, got it.
Oh.
Then there was like a 9-piece slide puzzle, and they're like,
my God.
do you want to pay 2,000 coins? I'm like, absolutely do I want to pay? I'm not even attempting this thing.
That was the one where you could complete.
Oh, yeah, you could pay. Yeah. You didn't have to do it.
I didn't think that one was that bad.
Sliding puzzles, and some of the solutions to the sliding puzzles required you to hit the wall to start the slider, and then hit the brick in the middle to redirect you mid-flight.
Oh, not that one. I'm talking about
this was
early in the game.
Yeah, with the
elemental one.
water going through the track. And water had to go through the track.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah, I
Yes.
saw those too.
I
See,
paid for those.
The second one kind of disappointed me. I thought it would show the entire thing go through, but it started and then faded out and then faded back in to solve. I'm like, oh, come on. I went through the effort. At least show me the work.
Well, because they didn't want to go through 100 tiles.
Well, John should have been really good at this one, doing the turtle.
Well,
and,
I had
Exactly.
He didn't know.
we already
Wait,
had to.
Did anybody solve that puzzle by just going directly and then it goes, no, you got to use all the tiles?
Oh, I did that once.
Yeah.
I did on the first one.
Yeah, they make you use all the tiles,
Yeah.
so it just became infinitely harder.
I think
No,
my
that was
wife called me an
brutal.
idiot for that. What are you doing? You're gonna use. I said, well, I didn't know.
I grew up playing the 15 slot slider puzzles, so I know how to solve them. But the difference here is you want your empty slot to be in the, I don't know what that was, but normally the open slot's in the lower right, but here you had to have the open slot in the upper left. So it was like I had to solve it upside down. That took me a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There were some other trophies that were really annoying. I really felt weren't perfect. One of them is really funny. There's a trophy that says fill up your art gallery. And there were a couple trophies, like the 300,000 coins one. It was not something I was going to stop and do because I figured it might just happen naturally running around. And I thought the same for the art. And I look into it. And apparently, if you go in the art gallery, when you find a toad, it becomes like a currency and then you buy the art. I had never done this.
So
by the
you
end
have to 100% the toads to get 100% of the art. If you miss one toad, you can't buy all of them.
So that
Then you have
was
to go spend
super lame.
hour.
Yeah. Well, it was super lame. I literally spent, I think, 12 minutes just clicking unlock on every single painting because I had all the toads.
I unlocked them as I opened them, so it didn't feel so bad.
Oh, I did
no,
not. I waited to the end.
I did too, and that was painful.
It was painful.
Oh man!
And then
it
you
took so
accidentally
long.
would flick it and it would open up. You're like, nope, I didn't mean to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Just have some toads unlock some art. Like, don't do that. I'm not gonna go in and buy art. Who cares? That was lame. And then the Eddy River is extremely difficult. Drew, you got lucky as hell.
Yeah.
That's
You missed
skill, my
one
friend.
point. Yeah.
Skill. I'll tell you what. The time I beat it, I actually had missed a hole that I had to throw confetti on. Not only did I get all my coins, I completed my confetti as well.
I will
took
be
me
honest.
like 3 tries through just to get all the confetti done.
Yeah, me too. And I said no on the coins. I was like, this is way too much for me.
Yeah, I know the coins.
Drew, I will confess. I think what did I wake up this morning and you had written me saying, "Oh, you had finished the Eddy River," and I was like, "No, I must be rereading that. He must be talking about something else." And then when I found out you did the Eddy River, I literally told my son and my wife, I go, the Eddy River is really hard, but I'm going to do it because if Drew can do it, I can do it.
True. It's a true statement. I'm not going to deny that.
But it took me way more times. It probably took 10 times as many times as it took for you. There were fun ones, like doing like the 7 battles on Scuffle Island. Catching the legendary legendary blooper. I mean, it's like, okay, it's kind of weird, that one.
I might have got the cheap. I don't think I got the blooper.
Let's just take time to wait for him to.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. In the building where the art gallery is and all the other rooms, they have the 2 paintings on the side.
Yes.
I never. My right painting is still blank.
Yeah, that's the blooper one.
Okay.
I don't think I never caught a blooper.
There's
Moon
a
Island.
fake one
Over
in what's the name of that park?
Shogun
Shogun
Valley.
Studios.
I was fishing and I saw a big blooper and I didn't even know about this challenge. And I went to catch it and it like turned into a ninja.
Yeah.
So like
That
I
happened
caught
to me.
3 fakes in a row.
Yeah.
I think you
Then I
have
just
to
gave
be
up.
on Full Moon Island to do this one. That's what all the guides had
Oh,
said.
okay. That
You
makes
know,
sense.
you can get cheap in Shogun. I did get cheap there.
Oh, okay.
I
but
think I got
did
my
get
cheap
blooper.
in Shogun as well.
Speaking of the water, did it really need to look so good?
It
Yeah,
Did.
it was amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
like during one of the boss fights, the water was like photorealistic,
Yeah.
The
And
fire
then it was
too.
like Pikmin.
All the fire stuff,
which was
just-
weird because earlier water you saw in the game was paper textured
Paper.
water. And then this is like real water. I'm like, whoa.
Even the Eddie River, I mean, it's paper, and then you look at this and you're like, man, why does this look so real?
Yep. All right. So before we wrap up, a couple questions I have for the four of us here. I'm going to start off by asking, let's go with Jesse. What was your favorite world, right? In encompassing all of it. So you have the 5 options, actually the 6 options, right? With the Origami Castle as well. So what was your favorite one you would say?
I like Shangri-Spa.
Yeah, that was
kind of it kind of did a little bit of everything, and it took there was 4 snippets that were originally not around, and you had to find them to open up the shops to buy certain things. One of which is a hit point increase.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That one was definitely cool. Even like the jungle area, all of that was awesome. Even Bowser's Castle was.
Wasn't
cool.
a fan of you took the wrong path, so now you got a game over.
Yeah, that was a little much.
But
that was hilarious.
I did like how it kind of proven the point that Kamek knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Mess with him. Jess John, what would you say your favorite area was?
I think probably, if I think back, probably the desert. I think just the music was really great. Exploring the car. I liked the boot car. I thought that was a pretty neat touch. And I parked it perfectly several times.
Yep.
Get that coin.
So
yeah.
I'll say the same. The desert in World 3 was absolutely my favorite. Even the Sniff City stuff, all of that stuff I thought was awesome. You even got to see the little hint of what World 4 was to come by Dona Peach's boat. All of it, I agree, was absolutely my favorite. John, what about you?
I'm gonna go with the Shangri-La as well.
Yeah.
I didn't like the sand. Both the sand and the ocean worlds were both like, I was so lost when I got there, and they were both big and expansive, and I didn't like it. I liked the compactness of Shangri-La. I even got really stuck there. I had gotten 3 of the spas, and I was trying to find the 4th. I went all over. I could not find it. And then I went to look at a guide to see, like, where is this 4th one? Because I kept going to where they said you need the VIP pass. Because I thought that was a 4th one. I was misreading the map. And then it was like, you just go down, like straight down to the rainbow one. I thought that's where I had come from originally. So I kept getting to that bridge, and I just stopped and went the other way. I was so frustrated. But I still enjoy that the most. And the jungle area was really nice, too.
See, right at the beginning of the Shangri-Spa, you talk to the toad that says, go into this room if you want to go back to your mundane world. And so I didn't, because I didn't want to leave. I wanted to keep going. So I didn't open up pipe 5 until I got to pipe 6.
Oh.
So I had to backtrack and go back into it to unlock pipe 5 again.
That's so there was actually a game-ending glitch in the Rainbow Spa where if you went to the stairs to get down to the VIP area for that it was not the Rainbow. The stairs to get down to that VIP section to go turn in your punch card. If you actually went down the stairs, didn't talk to the toad, and walked back up the stairs, I guess your stamp card disappeared from your inventory, and there was no way to get it.
I think you had to talk to the toad, because that then removes it from your inventory, and then if you backtrack, then you're stuck. You had to keep going to get to the rainbow.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess because when you go down the stairs and you talk to somebody but don't see them, that's the toad. And then when you go to the next screen, there's the toad again. I don't think many people ran into that because most people weren't going to go, oh, I'm going to go back. But it could happen. Maybe you just think, I don't want to do this right now. I'm glad
Another thing I
didn't.
wanted to mention about Shangri-Spa Zone, that was the last of the non-bottomless holes that I uncovered. I could see it on the screen down in the corner. I'm like, how the hell did he get down there? And it took me a while to find it.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
I wanted to ask too,
which was the coffee place in that zone.
It appeared to me that the first world, it really seemed to be the most difficult to find everything. It did for me anyway. It was the one that had the most holes when I had to go back.
Yeah. Well, the fifth, the Shangri-Spa didn't hardly have any toads to find. It really dampered down.
Yeah, there was only the one Toad in the fax machine.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just something I noticed. I mean, when I went back to start, naturally going through the game, finding all the Toads that I could that way, and then before I went back, I went all the way through the game before I backtracked to go find the rest. And from about the third streamer on, I think I 100%ed all the Toads just on my first go through without even looking for anything. And then I went to start looking to see what I needed to find as far as Toads go, and almost all of the Toads I needed to find were in that first world. I guess I don't know if I wasn't looking very hard, like they trained me to look better later in the game, or
it's just like a ton. It's just
there is a ton.
And then there's one Toad in the first world, in the first zone, that you can't even get until you've gotten to World 4, into the ocean.
Yeah, the one in the clam.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
Yeah, I had the fire. I had the fire going, but I didn't know. I didn't get the clam until the very end.
All right, one or two more questions I have for you guys. Let's go in the same order. Jesse, who was your favorite sidekick? Really, between like Bobby, the Professor Toad, K-Met, Bowser, all those guys that kind of help join in the battle every once in a while.
I like Kamek. Normally you see him just being this, the really evil, cast the spells to make Bowser and everyone grow. But here you kind of saw a different side of him, and almost sympathetic to the point where he says, I tell Bowser we should do this, and he always says, okay, let's do this instead.
Yep, that's true. That's funny.
So wait, Kamek went from ruining Color Splash for Jesse to being his favorite side character.
That is not wrong.
That's funny. John, what about you?
I think I probably have to agree with Kamek and just the interactions that you get to have with him in the talks. I think that was probably the best.
Mm-hmm. John?
I'm going with Professor Toad. Bobby kind of annoyed me early on because he kept leaving. Like he got lost in the grass. He didn't want to go into the dungeon. So I was like, come on, Bobby, let's go,
I'm just going to chill out here.
Yeah. I like Toad because when you're in the desert, you see these glowy spots on the desert. And I remember when I was first in the desert, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what these glowy spots were. I couldn't make any progress. And then finally, when you realize he can dig them up, it was like, oh yeah. So that was cool. And then I just want to say, in general, except for Bobby, but with Toad, when you go back to the desert because you're going to go for blocks or whatever, and then he's there waiting for you. He's like, hey, and then he follows you around and you can dig up and stuff like that. I loved having the sidekicks there for when you went back. Bowser would wait for you if you went into a pipe. I just thought that was so cool. So, but I like Professor Toad.
I agree. I thought Professor Toad was also the best. I think that, like you said, the digging aspect of it was awesome. I kind of wish they did that with the other sidekicks. For example, maybe you use Bobby like you have in the other older games, where he could have blew up a wall or two here or there to maybe get into a cave. Even K-Met, they could have done something with, moving blocks around, or Bowser blowing fire. They could have interacted that more, and I thought it was a little bit odd that only one sidekick kind of did that,
I don't think they could do it with Bobby because they had that story beat where he dies.
Yeah, he didn't have the fuse.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, but maybe a ghost Bobby would have been cool.
Yeah, who knows? All right, so I think the last question here that I think John kind of had up earlier, where with that being said, we'll go in the same order around the room, but Jesse, what is one thing that you could maybe have changed or made this game better if you had any option out there? What would you have done?
That's a good question. So the bosses and the end game rings, the lining up got old quick for me. And around World 5, I was still preserving coins, so I was just taking the hits when I couldn't solve the puzzles. Mm-hmm. But then when I got to the final world and I had 120,000 coins and gaining coins every other fight, I'm like, okay, there's no holds barred on the coin spending. So I think some changing that in some ways, so the transition just wasn't so abrupt of I can solve every puzzle without a problem to I need to throw money at this every single time. It was no middle ground.
Agreed. That's a good one. John, what about you?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier on Discord, but I think this game would have just been a little bit better with the more classic turn-based battle system like some of the previous entries had. I'm with Jesse. I got to the point where I didn't want to do the battle system at the end of the game, and I feel like that's a pretty common opinion. Other than that, maybe just a little bit better quick travel system other than the pipes. Like, once you get really deep into some of those levels and you're like, man, I got to go all the way back to that other pipe to get back to the Toad Town.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They had the fax travel thing too, which is kind of weird and put you in weird places. I never really used that.
Yeah, and it loads. The loading time is kind of a little bit hefty on that one too.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I feel like the fax was there to put you in different spots than the pipes.
Yeah.
And when I first saw that, I'm like, that's not how fax machines work.
Yes, it is.
But it still only interacted between the fax machine that was in the first world, So your only option was to either go back to that main lab, and then you have to try to start over from there, which is pretty far away from Toad Town.
And then, well, no, there's a pipe right outside the main lab that'll take you to Toad Town.
Oh, that's right. The orange pipe. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
The main fax lab will take you to any of the other side labs, but any side lab only takes you to the main one.
Gotcha.
John, what about you?
Definitely a couple. I mean, I love doing completion stuff, and I really felt like at least three of the final trophies almost forced you to cheat. Like I said, the speed rings definitely forced you to cheat. Shy Guys finished last, and that kind of ruins it because I don't like to use guides when I play games like this. I just want to try to do it without a guide.
I know.
Sometimes you get stuck and you're like, I could spend 5 hours. I'll just look up this toad, and I looked up a few toads, the last three, and that's fine. But I like it. I just thought those were cheap. 16 levels in the speed rings in 100 seconds is just not possible.
Yeah.
So that kind of ruined it a little bit, but gutted it out. The other one I'd say is just the battles. Look, if you're not going to do an XP system, fine. I would have loved to have seen, more battles give you something. And certainly there was some battles that found you toads. There was some battles that, got you more than just some coins and all of that confetti, which is just everywhere. It's not really something to win. But give me something of value. Make it at least so that, hey, I'm willing to fight that battle because I'll gain a little bit of this. You could have done anything. It didn't have to be XP, and they didn't. But if you're not going to do any of that, just make the game a little faster. They kept saying, oh, you got to do the rings. And it was the same prompts.
Just
jump
variety
into it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And early on, it's like you need a line or you need a block of 4. And that was it the entire game. It was just the same thing.
Brings me to another item, or another kind of similar topic. Did anyone ever use the throwing hammer?
I never did.
Never once.
I did for fun. Yeah.
I never used it. So I kind of wished it was, more like the original games where you got a weapon upgrade that you can equip and it's yours instead of these destructible upgrades.
Yeah. Or make enemies that require them.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah. Make an enemy that requires it.
I never used the fire plant.
I didn't know how many legendary weapons I would need by the end of the game. So when I unlocked the legendary weapon merchants, I bought like 5 of each. Ended up not needing any of them because the game gave me 3 more of each.
I'll tell you what, those fire flowers were the answers to a lot of bosses.
I never used the fire flower. And the one time I tried, it was ineffective.
No, I used them a lot. You could get a lot of damage done to multiple enemies. Like, for example, the stupid lightning guy before Bowser's Castle. I think I beat that guy with 6 fire flowers and it was done.
Oh, we had to beat all the guys to get the items back, and then
the fire flowers were key to those. But anyways, I would say the one thing I would want to change or improve is Nintendo always does an amazing job with games like Zelda and even games like Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, where after you beat a world, you want to go back to your main town, in this case, Toad Town, and you unlock something new that lets you explore the town a little bit more, or there's a reason to go back to town because there's something new there to buy. I just felt like Toad Town for me. I explored it in the beginning of the game, and then I really didn't have any other need anymore. It's not like I could go into the sewer and new areas would open up or anything like that. After I beat like a world, I went back to Toad Town, and then I just went to the next world. Like there was nothing I needed to do there.
Saving certain toads does unlock a few things, but you literally have to explore the whole city again to find out what changed. There's
Might as well
not
wait.
other than the one that yells at you, say, "Thanks for saving me. Look at my gym." You know, nothing else is called out.
I did the same thing. Hence the having to go back and unlock all those paintings after I was done because I never went back to do it.
No, well, there was no incentive.
At the very end. Did you end the game with the sewer opener still in your inventory?
Yeah, you give it back to one of the toads.
You do.
Yeah, I turned it in, but I only because I'm like, I don't remember seeing that toad here before. Let's talk to him.
Yeah.
I think did you get a trophy for a collectible for that?
Maybe
you
you
do.
get a collectible. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd even think to do it. That's why I said, like, a lot of these completion things, you really have to go around and talk to everybody multiple times and not know if that's the right time to do it. And that was a little frustrating, but yeah.
But all right. I mean, that was a good chat, a fun chat. We talked about a lot of stuff.
I got a question before we end up.
Yeah.
Okay, so of all the story bites, what was your favorite?
I mean, it's easy to say Bobby, but I don't know if I would say.
I think mine was Captain Toad.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of
where he ended up stealing his sub from Shangri-Spa.
There was a lot of good ones too. Like the first when you go into the second temple there, and Bobby waits outside, and you come out and you see him just laying on the ground waiting. Like in my mind, the first thing I was like, he's still waiting there, and then sure enough, that's the first thing that Oliver says, whatever Ollie says. He's like, "You're still waiting, Bobby?" Like just little stuff like that was definitely fun.
I want to say, I think the ending of the game, I had a note for this, and it's funny, I can use it now, that all of this happened because Ollie had something written on him he couldn't read, and he tried to destroy this world, and it turns out it just said, "Be a good king" or something, and that was it. So basically, all of this happened because he had some writing he couldn't see. All of this.
Yep. And I will say,
pretty damn funny.
I don't want to be spoiled because I have not 100% completed the game, but I understand when you do 100% complete the game, you do get a second new ending. So I don't know, did you guys see that? Or is it viewable, or how do you know
if you beat the final boss a second time? Or
I don't know.
I don't know this.
I read something about it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh God!
I mean, you have to have all 15 trophies, or
all 15 trophies. I think.
I'm not doing it.
Well, you already did it. I just don't know what you have to do.
I got all the trophies, but I think it's one of those games where when you save, you only save before you beat the final boss. You don't save when you beat it. This way, there's not this weird, like, it's like Breath of the Wild. There's not this weird, why are you doing all this? You already beat the final boss.
Right, well, so we need our good guest John here to go and do it for us and tell us if he does a different ending.
Jeez.
So I think my favorite story bit was how Paper Bowser Jr. was originally complaining that he had to take so many baths.
Oh, yeah.
But he ended up enjoying them so much that the fourth bath he double dipped and ended up black and white.
Yeah, that was good. That was a fun world. All that interaction. You're right. That was cool.
The Paper Mario Kart was pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, that was good too.
Oh, right in the beginning.
Oh yeah, and at the end when they're riding off.
Peach's Key.
Oh
yeah, stuck in there.
Or Luigi. It was weird. Wasn't it weird to see Luigi talking? I mean, like, it was just weird. I don't know. I mean, I assume he's talked before, but in most of the RPG games, that they just go wah 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 wah, like they don't really talk. I think that's
just the Mario and Luigi games. Previous Paper Mario games, I think he was a chatterbox.
I think so,
especially when with his Mr. L persona.
Yep. So.
But Mario doesn't talk.
Right. And do we want to talk about the Olivia's wish?
Oh, what was her wish again? To undo everything, or to undo everything that Ollie
Undo
did.
everything Ollie folded,
Right.
which included someone else. We're like,
Yourself.
I realized that. I'm like, oh, she did that.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could have changed how you worded that.
Nope. She's a goner.
Yep.
All right. Well, we want to thank the two of you for joining us at the Dads After Dark show tonight. And everyone else out there, thank you for joining us on this special. This was fun. And like John said in episode 16, we plan on maybe doing a little bit more of these in the future, depending on the games and how they get received. But definitely, John, you have any last words you want to add in?
No, that was fun. I think it's good to do a spoiler review. It's sometimes you do a review and you have to hold back, and
Yep.
I think it becomes really hard to I saw on a podcast today, they're like, oh, can I do a spoiler for a game that was 7 years old? And it's like, no, I think spoilers are never okay because people haven't played all these games. There's only so much time in a day.
Yeah, I think that was. Was that me asking the last episode? I forgot what game that was about.
No, it was NVC, but
okay.
But I mean, I think it's good to have to do a podcast and say this is going to be spoilers, or a whole video and say this whole thing is spoilers. Don't watch any of this if you don't want to, rather than say, hey, for the next 8 minutes or so, it's going to be a spoiler. So I think it's good to have these. And I think for the big Nintendo titles, especially games like this, I think it's good to talk about it and just be able to go all out. And, so yeah,
Absolutely.
We should do more of these.
Agreed.
All right. Thanks, guys, for showing up. We had as our first guest. So
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for listening to this bonus episode of the Origami King. Thank you, everybody, and catch everyone up on our Twitter handle at NDadsAfterDark. Peace.
Good night, dads.